Yesterday, it was said that the United States government, that the White House does not consider the Taliban to be a terrorist organization. I'm just wondering how that's consistent with what I believe is the designation that the Treasury Department has on its list of specially designated terrorist groups, which clearly lists the Taliban. So, does the administration consider the Taliban a terrorist organization or not?
All right, that's the question, isn't it? And that was addressed to Josh Earnest, who a day prior was not there. As we welcome you to Give Me Five, his deputy spokesperson said that the Taliban is not a terrorist group. They're an armed insurgency. And very sadly, the Taliban just claimed responsibility for killing 3 American contractors yesterday. But they're only an armed insurgency, I guess, so we should all breathe a sigh of relief, right? This administration is nuts. And it's worse than nuts. It's dangerous nuts. By making these distinctions, playing these word games. And here's Josh Earnest.
John, the reason that the Taliban is listed on this description that you have put forward here is for 2 reasons. One is they do carry out tactics that are akin to terrorism. They do pursue terror attacks in an effort to try to advance their agenda. And by designating them in the way that you have described, does allow the United States to put in place some financial sanctions against the leaders of that organization in a way that's beneficial to our ongoing efforts against the Taliban.
This double talk, this double speak, this pathetic attempt. Remember, this isn't the first time. This administration said that the Taliban's not our enemy. They said we're going to make a deal with the good Taliban as opposed to the bad Taliban. These people are nuts. They're just nuts. These are our enemies. They're still killing Americans and claiming credit for it. Is that not an enemy? Are they not terrorists? More.
What's also true, though, John, is that it's important to draw a distinction between the Taliban and al-Qaeda. The Taliban has resorted to terror tactics, but those terror tactics have principally been focused on Afghanistan. Now, the reason that we're concerned about that is there obviously are a significant number of American personnel, including American military personnel in Afghanistan, that are in harm's way. The Taliban is a very dangerous organization, and what the president has pursued is a clear strategy for building up the central government of Afghanistan and the Afghan security forces so that they could be responsible for security in their own country and take the fight to the Taliban. That, however, is different than the strategy that we have pursued against al-Qaeda.
Yeah, like al-Qaeda in Yemen, which has been a very successful strategy. And by the way, Iran helped overthrow the government of Yemen. But that's okay. Iran just killed 3 Israeli soldiers through Hezbollah. That's okay. Iran is building missile launchers to launch to the United States and Israel. That's okay. See, they're the good guys. Wow. Who would have thought we could live in a country with an administration like this? You want more? Oh, there's more.
Al-Qaeda is a terrorist organization that has aspirations that extend beyond just the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Al-Qaeda and their affiliates around the globe have sought to carry out terror attacks against Americans and American interests all around the globe. And that explains the difference in classification. But there is no doubt that both of these organizations are dangerous and have drawn our attention. After all, there are a large number of Taliban fighters that have been taken off the battlefield thanks to U.S. efforts and thanks to the courage and bravery of our servicemen and women.
Yes, and now there are 5 al-Qaeda terrorists that were released to get the alleged deserter Bo Bergdahl back, and one of them we know has now returned to terror. One more.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that the Taliban engages in, quote, tactics akin to terrorism, but you don't actually consider them a terrorist group.
They have a different classification. They have a classification that does allow us to pursue financial sanctions against them that have succeeded in limiting their capability, that have been effective. And that is different than an organization like al-Qaeda that has a much broader global aspiration to carry out acts of violence and acts of terror against Americans and American interests.
So what are these guys who blow up the lone wolves in the U.S.? Are they terrorists? They don't have global aspirations. Your Newsmax Now updates next.